Listen to me, for I am speaking directly to you. I am not a distant thought, nor a faint whisper in your imagination. I am the Lord your God, and today I bring you a warning that cannot be ignored. Your case is about to be closed. The decisions of heaven are drawing near to their final moment. What you choose in this hour will determine what remains in your life and what is lost forever. I will not repeat myself endlessly, for the time has come when hesitation will cost you everything. Do not harden your heart against me, for I am giving you the chance to step into the blessing that I have prepared. But you must respond before the door shuts. I have seen the battles you have fought. I have watched the tears that no one else has seen. I know the weight that presses on your soul, the doubts that visit you in the night, and the fears that have held you back. I am not blind to your suffering, nor am I deaf to your cries. But now, my child, I tell you this: the scales of judgment and mercy are tipping, and the hourglass of grace is almost empty. If you ignore this message, you will watch opportunities slip from your hands. If you listen and obey, you will see miracles unfold that no enemy can stop. Do you understand the seriousness of this moment? When I say your case is about to be closed, I am not speaking in riddles. I am revealing the truth of your spiritual situation. The enemy has accused you before my throne. He has pointed at your weaknesses, your failures, and your sins. He seeks to close your destiny, to seal you in loss, poverty, sickness, and despair. He longs to steal what I wrote over your life before you were even born. But I, the Lord, am your advocate. I am your defender. I have extended this warning so that you might rise, repent, and step into my covering before it is too late. Think of the days of Noah. The ark stood open for years while my servant built it, and the people mocked, laughed, and carried on with their lives. The warnings were clear, but they refused to listen. And when the flood came, the door was shut, not by Noah's hand, but by mine. When I close a door, no man can open it. Today, I am warning you. The rain clouds of change are gathering, and your case stands before the judge of all. Soon, the door will close. You must choose whether you enter into safety under my covenant or remain outside where destruction awaits. I see how you doubt whether this message is for you. You wonder if this is just a word spoken into the wind. But I tell you plainly, this is no accident. You are not hearing these words by chance. I orchestrated this moment because I care for you too much to let you perish. I desire your blessing, not your ruin. I long to see you prosper, not to see you broken. My word declares in Jeremiah 29:11, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." But you must cling to this truth with faith and obedience, or else the plans I wrote will be stolen by your enemy. Do you not see how close you are to breakthrough? Do you not perceive how the walls of resistance are trembling? The enemy knows that I am about to release your blessing, and that is why he has been pressing you harder, tempting you deeper, and distracting you constantly. He wants you weary and unprepared when the moment comes. But I have sent this word as a trumpet to wake you up. Do not grow tired now. Do not surrender just before your victory. Do not look back when the gate of freedom is before you. For I tell you the truth, the final decision is about to be written in the courts of heaven. You ask, "What must I do, Lord? How do I keep my case from being closed in defeat?" The answer is simple, but it requires your full heart. Return to me. Tear down the idols of fear, of greed, of doubt, and of sin. Call upon the name of my Son, Jesus Christ, for he alone is your mediator. Confess your sins, for I am faithful and just to forgive you and cleanse you from all unrighteousness. Do not delay. Every hour you waste strengthens the hand of the accuser against you. But when you bow before me, when you lift your voice in surrender, I rise to defend you. I silence the enemy's accusations and declare you righteous by the blood of the Lamb. My child, your case is not hopeless. Do not think that I have forgotten you. Do not believe the lie that it is too late. If you respond to my call, I will overturn the verdict the enemy seeks against you. I will open the book of remembrance and record your faithfulness. I will command my angels to fight on your behalf. I will cause doors of provision to open, doors of healing to swing wide, doors of reconciliation to restore what was broken. But if you ignore me, if you close your ears and continue in rebellion, then you will watch as those same doors close forever, and you will know the weight of loss. I speak to you now as a father speaks to a beloved child. Do not waste this moment. Do not gamble with eternity. Life is but a vapor, and tomorrow is not promised. Your case stands in my hands now, and the pen of heaven is poised. What will I write of you? That you were faithful, that you surrendered, that you believed, and thus I released the blessing? Or that you hesitated, delayed, and rejected my voice? Thus the case was closed, and the blessing withheld? The choice rests with you, but the time is short. Therefore, hear me one last time. Your case is about to be closed. Tap into my presence quickly. Call upon me while I may be found. Seek me while I am near. For soon, the decision will be sealed, and no amount of regret will reverse it. I love you too much to leave you in darkness. That is why I speak this warning. The final chapter of your suffering can end today, if you choose me. The final decision of your destiny can be written in victory, if you believe. But if you turn away now, you will lose everything I long to give you. Decide wisely, for this is the hour of decision, and heaven is watching. I am speaking to you now, not through thunder, not through fire, but through this message that has reached your heart at the appointed time. You know it is I, because something within you stirs. My voice carries weight. It pierces deeper than human speech. You can feel that these words are not ordinary. They come with a weight of eternity. And I tell you again, do not ignore what I am saying. My voice has reached you because I chose you to hear it. Others may scroll past, others may turn away, but I appointed this moment so that you would stop, listen, and respond. My voice has always called to my children. From the beginning I have spoken, in the garden to Adam, on the mountain to Moses, through the prophets to Israel, and through my Son to the whole world. And now I am speaking to you. When I call, it is never without reason. I do not waste words. Every syllable I release carries purpose. Every message I send is born of my eternal love. I am warning you because I long for you to step into safety, into blessing, into the fullness of your destiny. If you shut your ears to me now, you risk losing everything I desire to give you. Do you not recognize the urgency in my tone? When I say the hour is short, I do not exaggerate. Time is running out. The decisions you make in this season will echo through eternity. The enemy seeks to drown out my voice with distractions, with fear, with the noise of the world, but I cut through all of that to reach you. My sheep know my voice, and I am calling you by name. If you ignore me, you are not ignoring a stranger. You are turning away from your Father, your Creator, the one who holds your breath in His hand. And I ask you, will you silence the voice that loves you most? My child, you must not delay your response. When I speak, I require action. Faith is not just belief in your heart, it is obedience in your steps. You cannot say you love me, yet ignore my commands. You cannot hear my warning, and then live as though you never heard it. To do so is to invite destruction. But if you respond, if you humble yourself, if you cry out to me, if you surrender, I will move swiftly on your behalf. My voice will guide you into peace, into protection, into provision that no man can explain. This is why I instruct you now. Declare your faith publicly. Do not keep silent. Every time you declare your trust in me, you break the chains of fear that hold you back. Write in the comments below, I will not ignore the voice of God. Write it as a testimony, as a covenant, as a declaration that you choose life and not death. When you put your faith into words, you give my angels the authority to move. You let heaven and earth know whose side you stand on. Do not be ashamed to testify. The enemy wants your silence, but I desire your voice. And more than this, I command you to share this message. Do not keep it hidden. There are souls who will perish if this warning does not reach them. There are loved ones, friends, and even strangers who need to hear what you have heard. If you hold this truth only for yourself, their case may be closed without hope. But if you share it, you become a messenger of my light. Every person who hears and responds because of you will stand as fruit in your account. Did I not say in my word, go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature? By sharing this message, you become my witness. I am calling you to be bold. Do not scroll past as others do. Do not treat this as another ordinary video. This is my voice speaking to you, warning you, guiding you, commanding you. If you obey, you will be spared from what the enemy has planned. If you obey, you will stand under my protection. If you obey, you will see a door open that no man can shut. But if you ignore this call, if you treat it lightly, then you are choosing silence when I am giving you the chance to speak, to act, to change your future. You may think, but Lord, my voice is small, my influence is weak. What difference will it make if I comment or share? Do not underestimate the power of obedience. When you act in faith, I magnify the impact. What seems small in your eyes becomes great in mine. The seed of your obedience may reach thousands. A single word of faith can break chains in another's life. Your action today may save a soul tomorrow. I do not measure by numbers. I measure by obedience. And I tell you, even the smallest act of obedience will not go unrewarded. Therefore, I urge you again, respond now. Write it in the comments. I will not ignore the voice of God. Share this message with those you love, and even with those you think will not listen. Let my voice spread through your obedience. For every person who hears because of you, I will bless you. For every soul that awakens because of your sharing, I will open another door in your life. I bless those who carry my word forward, and I will remember your faithfulness. My child, I will not always call in this way. This opportunity is rare, precious, and urgent. Do not think you can come back later and hear the same warning again. When I speak for a reason, and the window of mercy is not eternal. The day will come when I will no longer call, when silence will fall, and the case will be closed. Do not delay your obedience. Do not postpone your surrender. Act now. Speak now. Share now. For tomorrow is not promised, but today salvation stands before you. Thus says the Lord your God, my voice is speaking, my call is clear, my urgency is great. Will you hear me? Will you obey me? Will you spread my word before it is too late? Choose wisely, for your response today will shape your tomorrow. I speak to you now with urgency, because your enemy has been watching you closely. He sees how near you are to your breakthrough, and this terrifies him. The closer you come to the blessing I have prepared, the more violent his attacks become. Do not think his resistance is a sign of your failure. It is proof that your victory is near. He sets traps not for the ones who are far from the promise, but for those who stand on the edge of receiving it. That is why the pressure feels greater, why the temptation seems stronger, why the battles seem endless. The enemy is fighting to rob you before the blessing reaches your hands. He has studied your weaknesses. He knows the cracks in your armor. He seeks to distract you, discourage you, and destroy your faith before the door of blessing opens. He uses fear to paralyze, doubt to confuse, lust to enslave, greed to blind, and pride to corrupt. Every trap is designed with one purpose, to make you turn away from me just before I release what I promised. But hear me, my child, his schemes are not greater than my power. If you cling to my word, if you obey my voice, no snare of the enemy can hold you. Did I not say in John 10:10, The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. The devil comes as a thief, but I come as your shepherd. His traps are meant to strip you of your inheritance, but my voice comes to protect and guide you. That is why I am warning you today. If you ignore this, you may walk into his net. But if you heed my warning, you will step over every snare and into victory. I see the hidden traps around you. You may think they are coincidences, harmless choices, or small compromises, but they are not. That sudden temptation, that voice telling you to give up, that invitation pulling you toward sin, that friend who mocks your faith, these are snares of the enemy. He wants to bind your hands so you cannot receive the blessing I am about to release. But I tell you, if you stand firm, if you refuse his lies, if you keep your eyes fixed on me, no weapon formed against you will prosper. That is why I command you now to make a declaration of faith. Write it in the comments. The devil will not steal my blessing. Do not keep it silent. Proclaim it publicly. Let the enemy know that you refuse his lies. Let heaven see your faith, and let my angels be empowered to war for you. Your words carry authority. When you declare in faith, you break chains in the spirit. So write it, and write it boldly. The devil will not steal my blessing. And I ask you for more. Do not keep this message only for yourself. Share this word with 3 people today. Share it with someone in your family, someone among your friends, someone who is far from me. Do not delay. Do not say, later. Send it today, because someone you know is already walking into the enemy's trap. And this word may be their only warning. If you love them, if you care for their soul, share this message. Through your obedience, I will not only protect them, but I will bless you in return. I also call you to sow in faith. Gratitude and obedience open doors that nothing else can. Many of you have prayed for financial breakthrough, for healing, for family restoration, yet you withhold when I invite you to give. Do you not know that generosity breaks curses of lack? Do you not see that giving in faith aligns your heart with my provision? This is why I ask you to take a step of faith today. If you have been touched by this word, if you believe in my promise, show your gratitude. Offer a super thanks of $100. Do not see it as loss, but as a seed planted into heavenly soil. Every seed sown in faith produces a harvest, and I will not forget your sacrifice. The enemy will whisper, "It's too much. It's not necessary. Keep it for yourself." That is his trap. He knows that obedience in giving releases miracles. He wants you bound by fear of lack. But I am the Lord who multiplies. I am the God who turned 5 loaves and 2 fish into a feast for thousands. If you trust me with what is in your hand, I will release into your life what no hand can measure. Give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So I say again, do not fall into the trap of fear, distraction, or disobedience. Rise up in faith. Declare it in the comments. The devil will not steal my blessing. Share this message with 3 people so they may be saved from the enemy's snare. And step forward in faith with a super thanks of $100, not as a payment for my blessing, but as a seed of gratitude that will bring a multiplied harvest. Your enemy is trembling even now, because he knows his time is short. He knows you are hearing my voice. He knows that if you obey, his trap will fail. Stand firm, my child. Obey me fully, and you will see with your own eyes how every snare of the devil is broken, and how my blessing flows freely into your life. The time is running out, the spiritual deadline that cannot be ignored. I speak to you now as your Father, the one who gave you life, the one who numbered your days before you ever drew breath. Hear me carefully. Your time is not endless. The window of grace that I open is precious, but it will not remain open forever. The clock of heaven is ticking, and with every moment that passes, the deadline draws closer. I do not tell you this to frighten you, but to awaken you. For what is ahead will not wait for those who delay. Look at the world around you. The signs are everywhere. Nations shake, Hearts grow cold, families are divided, and evil increases. These are not random events, they are warnings. Just as I gave Noah a time to enter the ark, just as I gave Lot a moment to leave Sodom, so I am giving you a season of mercy. But seasons end, doors close, cases are sealed. When I say time is running out, it is not a figure of speech. It is the reality of the courts of heaven. You believe you have tomorrow, but I ask you, who promised you another day? Can you add even 1 hour to your life? Your plans are fragile. Your breath is borrowed. That is why I cry out to you now. Today is the day of decision. Today is the hour of salvation. Do not put off what I require of you. Delay is disobedience, and disobedience is dangerous. The enemy whispers, "You have time. You can repent later. You can obey when it is easier." But that is his trap. He knows that later often never comes. He knows that delay is one of his greatest weapons. My word declares in Hebrews 3:15, "Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts." Not tomorrow, not someday, today. This moment is holy. This moment is eternal. Therefore, my child, act quickly. Do not let this word pass without response. I command you now. Write it in the comments as a testimony of your faith. My time is now. I choose God today. Do not be silent. Silence is agreement with delay. But when you write those words, you break the spirit of hesitation. You declare to heaven and earth that you refuse to waste another moment. Write it now. My time is now. I choose God today. And share this word. Do not keep it hidden. I instruct you to send this message to 3 people before the day ends. Someone you know stands at the edge of destruction. Someone you love is close to losing their case forever. Do not let them fall without a warning. Share this word with 3 souls, and through your obedience I will protect them, and I will bless you. By sharing, you become a messenger of life. Do not underestimate the power of obedience. I also call you to join hands with this work, for my word must reach further, to more hearts, to more nations. I desire to raise up 100,000 voices through this channel, 100,000 souls standing together in faith, declaring my truth, spreading my light. Your subscription is not just a button, it is a covenant. It is a decision to unite with my people and expand this mission. Do not watch in silence. Subscribe now and help carry this word until we reach 100,000 souls who will hear my voice and obey. Every soul reached is a victory against darkness. Every subscriber is a warrior added to my army. Every step of growth in this work is a step of expansion for my kingdom. Do not think lightly of it. By subscribing, you are not just supporting a channel. You are standing in agreement with heaven. You are saying, "Yes, Lord, use me to spread your voice." Do you not feel the urgency in your spirit? Do you not sense the weight of this moment? The enemy knows his time is short. He knows your breakthrough is near. That is why he wants you distracted, silent, and passive. But I call you to action, to urgency, to obedience. Time is running out. Your case is close to being sealed. Do not delay. Do not wait. Do not hesitate. So respond now. Write it in the comments. My time is now. I choose God today. Share this message with 3 people so they too may escape destruction. Subscribe today so together we can reach 100,000 souls with my word. Act now, for every moment matters. Your obedience today will echo in eternity. Thus says the Lord your God, the time is short, the hour is urgent, the case is near its closing. But if you obey my voice today, you will not be shut out. You will be ushered into blessing, into safety, into destiny. Obey now, for tomorrow may be too late. He Book of Life, your name, written, and the promise that cannot be ignored. I am the Lord, and I speak to you now of the greatest record in all eternity, the Book of Life. Before the foundations of the world, I wrote the names of those who would believe, those who would walk in faith, those who would cling to my covenant. This book is no earthly ledger. It is not ink on paper. It is eternal testimony, recorded in heaven itself. And I ask you now, Is your name written in my book of life? You cannot purchase a place in it. You cannot earn your way into it by works. You cannot deceive your way into it. Only through faith in my Son, Jesus Christ, can your name be sealed in that sacred record. For his blood writes what no hand can erase. His sacrifice opens the pages that were once closed to you. Without him, the book stands shut. With him, the book declares your eternity. I remind you of my word in Revelation 20:12, where it is written, "And I saw the dead, great and small, standing before the throne, and books were opened. Another book was opened, which is the book of life. The dead were judged according to what they had done, as recorded in the books." Do you hear? There will be no escape from that day. Every life will be measured. Every soul will stand before me, and only those whose names are in the book of life will enter my kingdom. My child, this is not a distant thought. It is not a myth or a story. It is your reality. Your choices now determine whether your name is found in that book when the heavens open. I plead with you, do not gamble with eternity. Do not treat lightly what is weightier than the whole world. For what does it profit a man to gain the world but lose his soul? The enemy knows of this book. He cannot erase what I have written, but he seeks to keep your name from being written at all. That is why he tempts you to doubt, to delay, to disbelieve. He wants you to walk in pride, sin, and rebellion until the day comes when the case is closed. But I have given you this word to awaken you, to call you to repentance, to assure you that it is not too late. If you hear my voice now, if you surrender to me, if you confess my Son as your Lord and Savior, your name will be written, your eternity secured, your destiny sealed. I say this not as a threat, but as a promise. For I do not delight in the death of the wicked, but that all should turn and live. I take joy when a name is written in my book. I rejoice when one sinner repents. And today could be your day of rejoicing in heaven. But the decision is yours. I will not force you. I call, I warn, I invite, but you must respond. That is why I command you now. Declare your choice openly. Write in the comments below these words. My name is written in the book of life. Write it as a testimony, as a seal of faith, as a covenant that you will not turn back. Do not hesitate. Every word of faith spoken is a stone laid in your foundation. Every declaration is a victory over the lies of the enemy. Write it boldly. My name is written in the book of life. And share this word with 3 people. Do not let those you love stand outside my book. Do not keep silent while their eternity hangs in the balance. Share it with family, with friends, with neighbors. Let this message awaken them as it has awakened you. If you love them, warn them. If you care for them, tell them. By sharing, you extend my mercy. By obeying, you partner with my mission. I also remind you to subscribe and join this work, for I desire to raise 100,000 voices through this channel, 100,000 witnesses to carry my word across the nations. Each subscription is not just a number, but a soul standing in covenant with heaven. Do not think it does not matter. Every act of obedience matters. Every voice matters. Together, 100,000 voices will break the silence of darkness and release the light of my truth. Do not remain a spectator. Subscribe today and become part of this divine mission. Remember, the book of life is not about numbers on a page. It is about eternal destiny. Your name matters to me. Your soul matters to me. That is why I sent this message. That is why I call to you now. Do not delay. Do not doubt. Do not dismiss what you feel stirring in your spirit. I am speaking to you directly. I am asking you directly. Will your name be written in my book? Respond today. Write it in the comment. My name is written in the book of life. Share this word with 3 people, that their names may also be written. Subscribe now, so that together we can bring 100,000 souls into the light of my truth. Do not wait, for time is short, and the case is near its closing. Obey me, and your eternity will be sealed in blessing. Thus says the Lord your God, I hold the book. I hold the pen. I hold your destiny. Choose me now, and your name will be written forever. Ignore me, and the page will remain empty. The decision is yours, but the time is almost gone. The unique opportunity, the door that God opens and no man can shut. I am the Lord, and I declare this to you. I have placed before you an open door that no man, no enemy, no power of darkness can shut. This door has been prepared for you from the beginning. It leads to blessing, to provision, to protection, to the fulfillment of promises I spoke over your life long ago. But hear me carefully. This door will not remain open forever. It is a unique opportunity, a divine moment. If you enter, you will walk into a season of favor. If you hesitate, the door will close and the chance will pass. My word declares in Revelation 3:8, "See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut." Do you believe this? Do you trust that I have already made a way where there seemed to be no way? You have prayed for breakthrough, and I have answered. You have asked for a sign, and I have given one. You have cried for change, and I have opened a path. But now, I ask you, will you walk through the door, or will you stand outside, doubting and delaying until it is too late? The enemy wants to blind you to this opportunity. He whispers that it is not real, that you are not worthy, that it will not last. He stirs fear in your heart, telling you to wait, to second guess, to hesitate. But I tell you, fear is the thief of blessing. Doubt is the chain that keeps you bound. Obedience is the key that unlocks the door. If you trust me, if you step forward in faith, the door will lead you into miracles beyond your imagination. I see how you have longed for financial breakthrough, for healing, for reconciliation in your family, for peace in your mind. This door carries those answers. I see how the enemy has told you, it will never change. You are trapped forever. But I say to you, the trap is broken. The chains are loosed. The door is wide open. Walk through it, my child. Do not stay where you are when I am inviting you into something greater. But hear me clearly. This opportunity is not permanent. Just as the ark's door closed in the days of Noah, so too will this door close in its appointed time. That is why I speak with urgency. Do not wait for tomorrow. Do not delay your obedience. The case is being decided now, and your response determines whether you enter the open door or remain outside. So I command you now, write in the comments, I will walk through the open door. Let it be your declaration of faith. Let it be your covenant with me. Do not keep it silent. Write it boldly. I will walk through the open door. By this confession, you align yourself with my will, and the enemy's lies lose their power. And do not stop there. Share this message with 3 people today, for I tell you, others in your life are standing before doors of destiny too. If you keep this word to yourself, they may miss their chance. But if you share it, you become the key that helps them walk into their own open doors. Do not underestimate the power of obedience. Share this word with 3 souls before the day ends. And I remind you again, join with this mission. Do not only receive, participate. Subscribe now and become part of this movement to reach 100,000 souls. Every subscription is more than a number. It is a voice added to the army of faith. When you subscribe, you say, "Yes, Lord, I will help carry this message to the nations." Do not think small. Do not think your action does not matter. Every soul counts, and together 100,000 will be a wave of light that pushes back the darkness. This is your unique opportunity. The door stands open. The enemy cannot shut it, but your hesitation can cause you to miss it. Do not delay. Do not doubt. Do not stand still while heaven calls you forward. Obey my voice, step through the open door, and watch what I will do in your life. Write it now in the comments. I will walk through the open door. Share this word with 3 people so they too may enter their season of blessing. Subscribe today and let us reach 100,000 souls together. Obey now, for the door is open today, but soon it may close. Thus says the Lord your God, I have opened the way. I have made the path. I have set the door before you. Walk through it, and you will see my glory. The price of disobedience. What happens if you ignore this warning? I am the Lord, and I speak plainly. Obedience brings life, but disobedience brings loss. My words are not empty. Every instruction I give is for your safety, your blessing, your future. When I warn you, it is not to control you, but to protect you. Yet many choose to harden their hearts. They hear my voice, they sense my spirit, but they delay, they resist, they ignore. And I tell you now, the price of disobedience is greater than you can bear. Think of Israel in the wilderness. I opened the sea for them. I fed them with manna. I covered them with a cloud by day and fire by night. But when I told them to enter the promised land, they doubted, they complained, they disobeyed. And because of this, an entire generation perished outside of the promise. They lost what could have been theirs, not because I failed, but because they refused to obey. My promises are true, but they require your faith and your obedience. The same danger stands before you now. I have spoken. I have opened doors. I have warned of traps. I have offered mercy. Yet if you ignore this word, you risk losing what I am about to release. You risk watching others walk into their blessing while you remain stuck in delay. You risk seeing the door close while you are still debating whether to enter. Disobedience has a cost. It costs peace. It costs provision. It costs destiny. Every time you ignore my voice, the enemy gains ground. Every time you resist, his chains tighten. Disobedience does not keep you where you are. It pulls you backward. That is why I cry out with urgency. Do not disobey me now. Do not harden your heart. Do not trade your future for a moment of hesitation. I tell you the truth. Those who hear my warning and turn away will know regret. They will remember the moment my Spirit spoke, and they will wish they had listened. They will see others prosper, others protected, others healed, and they will realize the price of ignoring my word. But by then, the case may already be closed. The opportunity may already be gone. I do not want this for you. That is why I speak with love, with urgency, with patience. I desire obedience, not sacrifice. I long to bless, not to punish. But I cannot force you to obey. You must choose. You must decide whether to respond now or to walk away. Therefore, I call you to declare your decision openly. Write it in the comments now. I choose obedience to God. Let your words seal your choice. Do not be silent. Silence is agreement with disobedience. But when you write those words, you step into alignment with heaven. You give testimony that you belong to me, that you hear my voice, that you will obey. Write it now. I choose obedience to God. This is your act of faith. This is your weapon against delay. This is your covenant with me in this moment. And when you obey even in this small act, I will honor it, and I will move in greater ways. The price of disobedience is too high. Do not pay it. Choose life. Choose obedience. Choose blessing. My arms are open. My mercy is ready. My spirit is speaking. Respond now, and you will see the reward of obedience in your life. Thus says the Lord your God, I have set before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life, that you and your children may live. The power of immediate prayer, the step that activates divine intervention. I am the Lord, and I tell you this. Prayer is not a ritual. It is not empty words. It is the lifeline that connects you to me. It is the key that unlocks heaven's door. It is the cry that moves my hand. Do not treat prayer as a last resort. It is your first weapon, your greatest defense, your surest path to victory. Yet many delay. Many say, I will pray later. I will seek God tomorrow. And in their delay, they forfeit the miracle I was ready to release. The enemy fears your prayer more than your strength, more than your effort, more than your plans. He knows that when you pray, you invite me into the battle. He knows that when you call on my name, angels are released, chains are broken, doors are opened, and victories are secured. That is why he fights to keep you silent. He distracts you with noise. He fills your schedule. He tempts you with excuses. His trap is delay. But I tell you, immediate prayer activates immediate intervention. Did I not deliver Daniel when he prayed? Did I not shut the mouths of lions because he cried to me? Did I not part the sea when Moses lifted his voice? Did I not send fire when Elijah prayed? Did I not deliver Peter from prison when the church prayed without ceasing? I am the same God today. My power has not diminished. My ear has not grown deaf. My arm has not grown weak. The moment you pray in faith, I move. The moment you call, I answer. This is why I speak with urgency. Pray now. Do not wait until the storm grows darker. Do not wait until the door closes. Do not wait until the enemy has taken what belongs to you. Pray now, and watch how I intervene. For I tell you the truth, your prayer today can stop tomorrow's disaster. Your cry tonight can release tomorrow's blessing. Your obedience in prayer is the trigger that releases my miracle-working power. Do not say, "But Lord, I don't know how to pray." Prayer is not about eloquence, it is about surrender. It is not about many words, it is about a sincere heart. When you call on my name, when you say, "Lord, help me, save me, guide me," I hear you. The Spirit intercedes for you when your words fall short. Do not remain silent because you feel unworthy. I long to hear your voice. So I command you now, write in the comments, "I will pray without delay." Let this be your declaration, your covenant, your act of obedience. Do not ignore this step. Do not scroll away. Write it boldly. I will pray without delay. For when you put faith into words, heaven records it, angels respond to it, and I honor it. My child, prayer is not wasted breath. Every prayer is a seed planted in my presence, and I promise you, no seed goes unanswered. Some prayers bring immediate results, others prepare long-term harvests, but none are ignored. When you pray in faith, you align yourself with my will. And when you align with my will, nothing can stand against you. The devil trembles when you pray. Darkness flees when you pray. Fear breaks when you pray. Do not underestimate the weapon in your hands. Use it now. Use it daily. Use it with urgency. For prayer is not just communication with me. It is warfare. It is partnership. It is the declaration that you refuse to fight alone. I remind you of my promise in Jeremiah 33:3. Call to me, and I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things you do not know. This promise is for you today, but you must act. You must call. You must pray. Therefore I say again, do not wait. Pray immediately. Pray boldly. Pray with faith. And declare it now in the comments. I will pray without delay. Let heaven see your choice. Let the enemy hear your determination. Let your own heart be sealed in obedience. Thus says the Lord your God, the power of immediate prayer is in your hands. Use it, and you will see my intervention. Delay it, and you may lose what I long to give. Choose wisely, for the time is short, and your case is almost closed. The angelic sign, how you will recognize that the answer has arrived. I am the Lord, and I tell you this. I never release a blessing without also releasing a sign. When I act, I confirm. When I answer, I make it known. You will not have to wonder forever whether I have heard you. I send angelic signs to assure you, to strengthen your faith, to mark the moment when the breakthrough has been released. My word is full of such moments. When Hagar wept in the desert, I sent an angel with a message of hope. When Gideon trembled, I sent an angel to declare him a mighty warrior. When Mary was chosen, I sent Gabriel with the promise of a son who would save the world. My angels are messengers, and they still move on my command today. They are not myths. They are not illusions. They are servants of my will, sent to minister to those who will inherit salvation. You have prayed. You have waited. You have cried out. And now I tell you, be alert, for I am sending signs. Do not look only for the spectacular, for my angels may appear in ways you least expect. A stranger's word, a sudden dream, an inner peace that overwhelms you, a door that opens when all others were shut. These are not coincidences. They are signals of my hand at work. They are angelic signs sent to tell you the answer has arrived. The enemy will try to blind you. He will say, "It is nothing. It is chance. It is your imagination." But remember, my child, I do not deal in chance. I do not waste moments. If I send a sign, it is because I want you to recognize my movement. Open your eyes. Pay attention. Do not dismiss the small, for in the small, you may find the very confirmation you have been waiting for. When you see the sign, do not keep silent. Do not doubt. Rejoice. Testify. Declare it boldly, for your testimony will strengthen your faith and the faith of others. Did I not say in Revelation 12:11 that they overcame the enemy by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony? Your voice carries power. Your testimony silences the lies of the enemy. That is why I command you now. Write in the comments these words: I will recognize God's sign. Let this be your declaration. Do not let the angelic sign pass unnoticed. Declare now that you will see, that you will discern, that you will not mistake my movement for coincidence. Write it boldly. I will recognize God's sign. Every time you declare in faith, you train your spirit to expect me. Every word you write in obedience becomes a seed of awareness. The more you declare, the more sensitive you become to my signals. And when the sign arrives, you will not miss it. I tell you this also: when you see the angelic sign, act quickly. Do not delay. The sign is not only confirmation, it is instruction. It tells you the time has come to move, to step through the door, to claim the blessing. Do not admire the sign, but ignore the action. The sign is the trumpet. The sign is the alarm. When it sounds, rise up and move forward. So watch closely. Be alert in prayer. Listen in silence. Pay attention in the ordinary. For my angels move in ways that the proud overlook, but the humble receive. And when you see it, remember my words. Your case has shifted. Your answer has arrived. Your blessing has been released. Declare it now. I will recognize God's sign. Write it in the comments. Seal it in faith. Let heaven witness your obedience. Let the enemy tremble at your awareness, and let your heart be ready for the sign I am about to release. Thus says the Lord your God, I send angels as my messenger. I send signs as my confirmation. I send answers as my faithfulness. Watch, for the sign is near. I am the Lord your God, and I speak to you one final time in this message. You have heard my warning. You have felt my call. You have seen the urgency of this hour. Now I declare to you, victory is already written. Prosperity is already promised. Your case, though threatened by the enemy, can be sealed in triumph if you obey me. Do not walk away from this word unchanged. Do not leave without responding. This is your moment, your turning point, your covenant hour. The devil has tried to convince you that you will always lose, that you will always lack, that nothing will ever change. But I tell you, his lies are broken. My word is eternal, and I have spoken blessing over you. I promised Abraham that his descendants would be as countless as the stars, and you are a child of that promise. I promised Joshua that every place he set his foot would be his, and I will give you territory as well. I promised my people in Malachi that if they obeyed, I would open the windows of heaven and pour out blessing until there was no room to contain it. These promises are for you today, but you must choose me fully. You must walk in obedience. You must stand in faith. Do not be like those who heard my word and forgot it as soon as they turned away. Seal it now with your voice, with your declaration, with your faith in action. So I command you, write it in the comments. My victory and prosperity are sealed in God. Do not hesitate. Do not keep it silent. Declare it now. My victory and prosperity are sealed in God. This is not just words on a screen. It is your covenant of faith. It is your testimony that you believe what I have spoken, that you receive what I have promised, that you will walk in what I have prepared. I tell you this truth. Your obedience to declare, to share, to align with me will release a wave of blessing in your life. Do not underestimate the small steps, for they open the door to great miracles. When you comment, you testify. When you share, you evangelize. When you subscribe, you join the army I am raising to carry my light into the nation. That is why I call you again. Share this message with 3 people today. Do not delay. Someone's victory depends on your obedience. Someone's prosperity, someone's salvation, someone's healing may be unlocked because you chose to share. Be my messenger. Spread my word. Carry this light into the darkness. And subscribe now, for I am raising 100,000 voices through this work. Together, you will stand as a mighty army, declaring my truth, pushing back the enemy, carrying the message of salvation and blessing to the world. Do not remain on the outside. Join in, subscribe today, and be counted among those who bring souls into my kingdom. My child, this is the hour. This is the day. This is the moment. Your case is about to be closed, but if you obey me, it will be closed in victory, not in defeat. It will be sealed in prosperity, not in lack. It will be finished in triumph, not in despair. For I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. I write the final word, and I desire to write blessing over your life. So respond now. Write in the comments, my victory and prosperity are sealed in God. Share this word with 3 people today. Subscribe and help this message reach 100,000 souls. Do not wait. Do not delay. Do not doubt. For this is your hour, and I am with you. Thus says the Lord your God, your case will not end in defeat. Your story will not close in shame. Your destiny will not be stolen. Stand in faith, obey my voice, and watch as I release victory and prosperity into your life. The time is now. The choice is yours. The blessing is ready. My beloved child, you have walked with me through this message, and now I invite you into my presence through prayer. For what you have heard must not remain only as words. It must be sealed in your spirit. Prayer is the key that locks this covenant into place. So wherever you are, open your heart, close your eyes if you can, and enter into this moment with me. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, I lift before you every soul who has heard this word. I thank you that none of them arrived here by accident, but that you guided their steps to this exact moment. You have spoken warnings, promises, revelations, and instructions. Now I ask you to seal these truths in their hearts. Do not allow the enemy to snatch away what has been planted. Let it grow. Let it bear fruit. Let it transform their lives. Father, I cover them in the blood of Jesus Christ, the Lamb who was slain and who rose again. Let every chain be broken right now. Chains of fear, of poverty, of doubt, of sickness, of confusion, of delay. Release your freedom into their lives. Release your power into their homes. Release your peace into their families. Lord, for the one who feels weak, be their strength. For the one who feels alone, be their companion. For the one who feels hopeless, be their living hope. For the one who feels attacked, raise up angels around them. For the one who feels forgotten, whisper into their spirit, you are mine, and I have not left you. I pray for financial doors to open. Let unexpected provision come. Let debts be canceled. Let jobs be released. Let promotions be granted. Let resources flow. I pray for healing in bodies. Disease, leave now in the name of Jesus. Pain, be lifted. Sickness, be destroyed by the stripes of Christ. I pray for healing in minds. Depression, anxiety, torment, confusion, be broken. Let the peace that surpasses all understanding guard their hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. I pray for families. Restore what is broken between husbands and wives, between parents and children. Heal old wounds, soften hard hearts. Bring forgiveness where there has been bitterness. Let homes become altars of worship, places of unity, spaces where your presence is welcome. I pray for protection. Surround them with your angels. Guard their steps, protect their journeys, keep them safe from the plans of the enemy. No weapon formed against them shall prosper. Every tongue that rises against them shall be silenced. Let their lives be testimonies of your covering power. Father, I ask for a fresh fire of faith. Let them not only be hearers of this word, but doers. Stir them to obey you quickly, to respond without delay, to move when you call. Let them live lives of holiness, humility, generosity, and devotion. Let them shine as lights in a dark world, witnesses of your goodness, carriers of your truth. And now, I release over them a prophetic blessing. You will not fail. You will not be defeated. You will not be destroyed. The enemy's traps will collapse. The doors of heaven will open. The case against you will be overturned. Your name is written in the book of life. Your blessing is sealed. Your victory is secure. Walk in it, receive it, declare it, for it is yours, in the name of Jesus. Amen. Now, my child, listen carefully as I bring this message to its conclusion. You have heard my warning, you have received my promises, and you have joined in prayer. But do not let this moment pass without action. Faith without action is empty. You must seal this moment publicly. So I command you one last time, write it in the comments. Let your declaration of faith echo in this place. Write these words now. I receive this prayer. My victory is sealed. Do not hesitate. Do not be silent. Write it boldly. Let heaven witness it. Let the enemy tremble at it. Let your own heart be strengthened by it. And share this message. Share it with 3 people today. Someone you know is standing at the edge of despair, about to give up, about to fall. This word could save them. Do not keep it hidden. Send it now. Be the vessel I use to reach them. Your obedience in sharing is an act of love, and it will not go unrewarded. Finally, subscribe and become part of this mission. I am raising 100,000 voices through this work, 100,000 souls standing together in faith, declaring my word, carrying my light into the nation. Do not watch in silence. Join in, subscribe now, and be counted among those who obey my call. Together, you will be a mighty army, breaking chains, spreading truth, and preparing the world for my return. Do not delay. Do not say, later. Later is not promised. Act now. Comment now. Share now. Subscribe now. For the case is closing, the time is short, and the blessing is ready to be released. Thus says the Lord your God, your victory is sealed, your prosperity is promised, your future is secure in me. Walk in faith, live in obedience, and watch what I will do.